2023 was a life-changing year for me. And at the end of 2023, I decided I wanted to get a planner, or like one of those calendar books that everybody gets, and they're going to plan their days and they're going to get their life all structured. So 2023 was a really hard year. I made a lot of hard decisions. That was the year that I decided to quit my job at the Postal Service after 25 years. And go out and I buy this planner, and I go to Walmart. I don't have anything in mind, like a design one. I just pick up one, and one day I'm looking at the planner and I noticed that it has flowers all over it. And little did I know, the planner that I had just picked up connected to a dream that I had about receiving my flowers, right? Once I noticed the flowers, I noticed on the front of the planner that it had the verse 29, Jeremiah 29, verse 11. So that was very interesting, and the scripture itself also tied into the dream that I had 2 years prior to this about receiving my flowers. And today I came into my office. Something happened, and it wasn't about the planner, but something happened, and I guess you could say it led me to read Jeremiah 29, verse 11. So I go to the book of Jeremiah, and I see this heading over Jeremiah 29, chapter 29, and it reads, "The message to the Jews of the first captivity." And that instantly caught my attention because the planner was sitting right next to the book. So I'm like, wow. If you've been tuning in, I recently read a letter from 1862, and that letter was from Beta Israel to Jerusalem, which also made the light bulb in my brain go off. And I was like, okay, there's got to be something to this. So without further ado, enjoy. These are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. And when I read this, it just took me all the way back to Operation Moses. I think about that night, that letter from 1862, which was sent from Beta Israel Ethiopians to Jerusalem, and they thought they were mailing a letter or sending a letter for help to their brothers. The people in Ethiopia thought that their brothers were still in Jerusalem. Now, I don't know if this was like literal, but I know the Bible is written in metaphors and, hidden meaning. So I was like, okay, they were reaching out for help, for connection, but they didn't know the land had already changed. Their brothers had already been moved and taken captive. Jerusalem to Babylon. Not just a place, not just a land, a state of mind. Jerusalem is alignment. Babylon is empire, control, separation from source. And yet here, God tells the captives, build houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, eat the fruit of them, take wives and begot sons and daughters, seek the peace of the city where you are held captive, and pray unto the Lord for it. For in its peace you shall have peace. They wanted the captives comfortable. This is how I looked at it. I don't know if that's how it is or what's written here. I know, like I said, there's a lot of hidden meaning in the Bible, but this is where my mind went. They wanted the captives to be comfortable. They wanted them stabilizing the system. But God said, let not your prophets and diviners deceive you. Let not your dreams be taken from you. They tried to separate them from their inner guidance, from their source. They wanted them disconnected. Let's look at verse 12. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. There was a time before God heard. Alignment mattered. timing mattered. God doesn't hear everybody's prayers. And I think there's a scripture that actually says God only hears the prayers of the priests or the prophets. So, verse 14, let's go to verse 14. I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, that you may return to the place where hence I was carried away captive. God scattered them because they went against God. Going against God is going against yourself. And if you go against yourself, guess who loses? There's nobody but you against you. Again, this is how I'm looking at this as I'm reading it, and I'm like, wow. It is not my interpretation. This is just where my mind went as I'm reading, and it's like, wow. So our forefathers were scattered because they went against God. And here, we're learning that Beta Israel, Beta means house of in Giez. Beta Israel, house of Israel, went against God. And verse 17. Behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten. They are so evil. When I read that, I thought about how we used to see Ethiopian people on the television with the big stomachs and the flies in their eyes and all that. They were made a curse. They were like, we used to look at, nobody wanted to be connected to Africa, especially not Ethiopia. They made sure that we would never want to connect to that place. Think about it. Now, the letter tells you that there were people, okay, if Ethiopia was the last biblical kingdom standing and everybody around them, every other place in Africa had been conquered. Ethiopia was the last standing. So this tells me that they had family that had went out abroad and traveled the world and found other land. If they were riding to Jerusalem, right? So there were people left there. After they left there, they were tricked. They were tricked into getting into agreements with what they thought was going to be their help. The whole time they were reaching out to their enemy. So the whole time I'm thinking about this when I'm reading this, and God is like, it's going to be horrible there. They are so evil, they tricked you with lies. Verse 18, I will persecute them with sword, famine, and pestilence, and I will deliver them to be removed to all the kingdom of the earth, to be a curse, an astonishment, a hissing, and reproach among all nations. What did I just say? How they used to put Ethiopians on the television, on the television. Operation Moses was a plot for demise, but God's plan was always bigger. Some were taken into captivity, some remained behind, some left generations earlier, some aligned with empire. And y'all remember what I told y'all about empire. Empire doesn't mean all empires. Empire, who created these words, y'all? They did. The language we speak is not of our own. Empire is their empire. The Western world, the royal families, the Vatican, the Holy See. This is talking about their empire. Some align with empire, some align with foreign powers. Some still believed unity existed. Some still believed Jerusalem held their brothers. And the way I'm saying this, don't get it twisted. Ethiopia did have empire. They had monarchy and royalty. The people, they wanted to study God. The foreign powers had already came and colonized the other lands, so they were already practicing other things. They were already going against God. Some fracture, some confusion, some consequence. Verse 21, behold, I will deliver them unto the land of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall slay them before your eyes. Verse 23, because they have committed villainy in Israel. What is that word? Villainy. They became villains of their own people. They have committed villainy in Israel, have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives, and have spoken lying words in my name, which I have not commanded them. I am witness, said the Lord. This is what happened in Ethiopia, what started, what was going on that made them a target to their enemy was within Ethiopia during the era of princes. They began to fight amongst each other, and it's pointing it out right here. Because they have committed villainy in Israel, have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives, and have spoken lying words in my name, which I have not commanded them, I am witness, said the Lord. False prophets, lies in God's name, betrayal, people betraying their own brothers. Ethiopian history, Beta Israel history, it repeats here. The captives, the homeland, the betrayal, the exile, identity stolen, but a plan was always in motion. Jeremiah 29 shows some were taken into captivity, some were left behind, some betrayed, some aligned with empire, some still believed unity existed. Ethiopian history shows some remained in the homeland, some had already left generations earlier, some aligned with foreign powers, and some still believed Jerusalem held their brothers and it was a holy place. Some fracture, some confusion, some consequence. In verse 48, behold, I will punish Jeremiah the Naamite and his seed. He shall not have a man to dwell among these people, neither shall he behold the good that I will do for my people, said the Lord, because he hath taught rebellion amongst the Lord. The 1862 Ethiopian letter sent to Jerusalem matches this perfectly. People still in the homeland believe that they were reaching out to brothers, not knowing the land had already been taken. The same fractures, the same confusion, the same consequences. Captivity fractured communication before it fractured body. But this is why the Bible is written in verses, y'all, in layers. It's history, prophecy, it looks like biography, all in one. The ending takes us back to the beginning. The return is always the origin to the source, to God, to self, to home. You may be asking yourself, what do we do with this knowledge? What does it mean for us today? Look at your own captivity. Where you feel scattered, misaligned, or separated from your purpose, and ask yourself, who am I aligned with? Who is guiding me? Reach out for truth. Seek connection with Source, God, whatever you want to call it. Don't be deceived by false prophets, and stand in your identity, your history, your true story, your lineage. Build where you are, but never forget why you were scattered, and never stop moving toward the place that God has promised us. It's time to reclaim what's yours. It's time to see clearly, and it's time to rise, to gather, to return, because the end is the beginning, and the beginning just so happened to be now, in the end time. Peace to the real.
Talk about African unity, but we are not being naive about that unity, because sometimes when we talk about Pan-Africanism and about African unity, people think we are being too simplistic about it. No, it is not being simplistic and being naive. It is recognizing that as long as we remain the way we are, then Africa in the next 25 years will be recolonized. You know, what is the state of Africa as I speak now? What is the state of your continent as we speak now? Because because of our disunity. Because when we are disunited, then it is good for Europe and America.
Exactly.
Look at the state of your continent as I speak. Conflicts of one kind or another. I'll name the countries just for you to know how bad it is, because that is how it is.
That is how it is.
Go to northern Mozambique. The gas that is there cannot be produced because there is conflict. Northern Mozambique. Go to Somalia. Conflict. Here in your motherland. Conflict. Go to South Sudan, conflict. Go to Sudan, conflict. Go to Libya, conflict. Go to Central African Republic, conflict. Go to the Democratic Republic of Congo, conflict. Go to Burkina Faso, conflict. Go to Mali, conflict. Go to Chad, conflict. Go to Niger, conflict. Go to Cameroon, conflict. Go to Nigeria, conflict. Do I go on? That is the state of the continent. So that even when we talk about intercontinental trade, you tell me, can you drive from Addis Ababa to Dakar in Senegal? Unless you are a daredevil himself. Which group will not kidnap or ambush? That is the state of the continent because we are weak and disunited. I fly from Nairobi, Kenya for 1.5 hours. I come from the shilling zone. I go into the beer.
I just wonder when we can wake up. We've slept on for a very long time. We've been asleep for a very long time. And this has been going on. We don't think. Not that we are not smart, not that we are not intelligent. We just decide not to think. We've been programmed not to think. And a lot of people will come to the comments and be like, Africans are the problems. You don't even know how the system works. You don't read, you don't research, you don't know history. And then when we play videos like this, you come out and rant and show how naive and unintelligent you are. It is high time we woke up. Stop sleeping. Stop sleeping. Just imagine they just took the light. I'm recording in Africa. They just took the light. And you say you don't know what the problem is. Well, this is not going to stop me from saying what I have to say. With the young Africans, it's time. The older generations, they've done their part. This is our time. This is our time. Wake up. Stop sleeping. Stop sleeping. Stop sleeping.
And now you tripping cause you ain't listen to mind your business. Get up and spill out your cup, then come be a witness. Know what the deal is, you missed it again, see what happened. But it's okay cause we got to all you